Now that we have all of our settings set up, everything's installed and configured, our add-ins are turned on, we are ready to start taking a look at a couple of examples on how to utilize share and markup and what that's going to look like from our perspective. Our first example, we're going to do a full workflow of share and markup. We're going to start from initiating the share, seeing the second computer with the email, and then going back and forth with a couple of comments and markups. So we're going to see the entire process here. Going into SOLIDWORKS, I have my part file opened, and this is really ready to go to start sharing. So I'm going to choose my file extension. I'm going to share this as a STEP AP214 file, and I can click on Share a File. This is actually converting the file into a STEP file at this point in time, and now we have a window where we can choose how we want the link to be sent. The item at the top to copy a link will simply be a copy and paste of the link. You can copy and paste that into the body of an email and send it to whoever you want. This is a little bit less secure than the second method we're going to see, because anybody with a 3D Experience ID could then access the file in the link. So it's not quite as secure as the second method. We're going to enable guest comment so they can comment in the markups, and then I'm going to choose to restrict the access to specific users. In doing this, I am prompted to enter an email address of the recipient. Going through this method, only the person with this email address and 3D Experience login associated with that email address will be able to view the file. I can then add a message to the body of the email and start the share. As I start sharing the file, the STEP file is going to be fully loaded into 3D Drive. Once this is loaded, I will see there is a shared with external folder inside of my 3D Drive, and my STEP file has already been placed there. Also, the email has already been sent to the recipient as well. That's actually what we're seeing here on the recipient screen. They see the 3D Experience platform email, and when they click on that, we see an example of what this email is going to look like. We see who the user was, what the file is, the body of the email that would have been included, and then there is a button to click here to see more. That blue hyperlink is going to automatically launch the 3D Drive and 3D Play applications so we can start loading the geometry and viewing the file in 3D. It takes a couple of moments to load the geometry in the browser, but once this does load, we'll be able to see the same part file, and we can start pan, zooming, rotating inside of three-dimensional space in our browser. Towards the bottom of our 3D Play app, we have an action bar. There's two tabs. There's a View tab and a Tools tab. In the View tab, I may choose to show all edges and turn off perspective. As a SOLIDWORKS user, I like to see all of my edges. As I am interrogating this part, I may decide that the way the logo is applied might not be necessary in this case. Perhaps there's a different method that the logo gets applied, but this method is creating a lot of tiny faces and small edges that maybe are not necessary for production. So I can go into my tools, choose my pencil icon, where I can start marking up, drawing circles around certain items that might be an issue. So I'm going to circle both of the logos. I can also add text directly into my 3D Play application. So I'm going to add text to add some context to these circles just by saying, let's remove the logos. Once I've added my markups and my text, I can go down into my action bar, and the cloud with the plus sign will share this as a comment. This will share the markup and allow us to add even more information. This panel on the right-hand side serves as a type of chat. So again, I'm going to reiterate that maybe the logos need to be removed, and I can then send this information back to the sender of the file. They will receive a notification. These notifications are live and active. They can be clicked on. So Once that notification has been activated, we see once again the My Session app is loading the 3D drive file and it's loading 3D Play. The geometry will load side by side with my SOLIDWORKS file. This is really very user-friendly because we'll be able to see the markups and the actual SOLIDWORKS model side by side. So I'm seeing that the person I'm collaborating with really wants us to remove the logos. Maybe there's a different method they'll be applied, so we'll go ahead and do this. I can zoom in, compare my SOLIDWORKS and markup file, and suppress the logo. Once I've made this type of design change, I want to inform the person I'm collaborating with of the change. I'm going to click Share a File a second time. This now gives me a set of options. I can either update the existing step file with this step file with changes, or I could choose to simply upload as a brand new step file. I'm going to choose Update Existing because it's going to maintain my markups. If you choose to load this as a new file, you're not going to see the markup from the original file. So there is a little bit of a difference there. I will still see one file. I can preview what this file looks like after the update. This can be a very simple verification that the step file did get updated, so we will then know that our person we're collaborating with will see the most current up-to-date file. And everything looks good. I'm not seeing the logos there. Even if I turn on my edges, everything looks like my SOLIDWORKS model. So I can add my own markup directly from the My Session app. I'm going to choose a blue color just so the color is a little bit different, and I'm going to circle where the logo used to be and just reiterate that the logo has been removed. So I'm adding my own markup directly from within SOLIDWORKS. Once completed, I will go ahead and hit send. Now, something to be aware of here is the recipient of the file is not necessarily going to receive a notification in this direction. Part of that is because they're not actually added to your company's 3D Experience tenant, but they can refresh their browser, which I just did, or they can re-access the same link and the updated information will be there. Here we're seeing both of the markups, the original markup and the markup from the designer who just suppressed and removed the logos. So I have access to this information going back and forth. From here, I could continue with this workflow. If I found anything else incorrect in the model here or something that I saw should be changed, I could add my own markup. And again, I could send that back to the recipient and we could continue this workflow as many times as needed. So this completes the first example, which is a full workflow. We saw how we can initiate the share, do the markups in the web browser and in SOLIDWORKS, and update those files.